Hello everyone, my name is Lumi and in this video I will guide you through Barik's strengths and weaknesses, so stay tuned to learn more. Let's jump right into it. Barik is one of the 7 freely available champions and his main weapon is a rifle. The technical term being a blunderbuss for those of you more into historic rifles, but here it actually has an 8 bullets magazine. It deals 350 damage upon direct impact and has no area of effect damage. Meanwhile, its firing speed seems to be 1 shot per second, meaning his main weapon has 350 DPS or damage per second. The reload speed is neither too short nor too long, lying somewhere between 1 and 2 seconds. Meanwhile, his secondary attack, better known as right mouse button, is actually a defensive ability. It is called Barricade and deploys a crescent-shaped force field or shield that absorbs incoming damage from its convex side while allowing damage to go through its concave side. It has a 30 seconds cooldown and lasts for about 4 seconds or less if it has soaked up too much damage. But all these stats can be improved when using the right cards. Depending on the deck used, you can also imbue the barricade with special powers such as increasing you and your teammate's speed or healing you when passing through it. But it can also be used to slow down enemies who pass through it when using the proper card. His main ability is a deployable turret that deals 140 damage each shot, with an extra 60 damage being dealt over the following second in 20 HP damage bites, HP being health points. The turret's fire rate is 2 shots per second, which gives it a DPS of 360 HP, given that you would need an extra half second for the second shot damage over time to be applied. In 1.5 seconds, you would actually deal 400 damage with those 2 shots. Even when not counting the afterburn effect, nor the fact that the turret is guided by an aimbot, it has a better base DPS than Barik's primary weapon, meaning it is Barik's main damage dealing ability. But beware, it has approximately 3 seconds of deployment time in which it is unable to shoot any targets, yet can suffer damage. Its cooldown is 30 seconds as well, but can be reduced with specific cards, especially the first deck, in which turret's base health also gets a nice boost. The maximum number of allowed turrets at the same time can be increased from 1 to 2 with the right specialty card. Barik's escape ability is the Rocket Boots Dash. When activated, it boosts you in the direction you were aiming when activating it, while leaving you unable to shoot as long as you're boosting, unless you decide to interrupt the rocket boots. The ability moves the camera into third-person view, and its duration can be improved with the right card. Its cooldown, though, is a constant 12 seconds. Finally, Barik's ultimate is a dome shield that protects in a 360-degree sphere, while dropping a separate flamethrower turret in its center. Said turret deals damage over time in 80 HP damage bits, which according to my best efforts seem to amount to a 400 HP damage per second. Don't take my word on this one though, as the inside of a dome shield is incredibly chaotic during a match, and I did my best while checking out my recordings to come up with these numbers. Anyway, that's it for Barik's weapons and abilities. Now, how do you use them right? Barik has 2050 health points, which puts him right in the average champion's ballpark. He's not really a tank, but he sure can as hell work miracles in that aspect. His regular turret deployment being a high priority threat, effectively acts as an added life pool to Barik's own, coupled with some cards where standing next to your turret heals both you and the turret. You can understand quickly why Barik can be used in a tanky way. He also has a small hitbox, which makes it easier for him to hide behind small obstacles and covers. Just remember to use that to your advantage. Due to his turrets and barricade, Barik excels at standing his ground and occupying a defensive position. You can try to use him offensively, but the turret's initial shooting delay leaves you to fend for yourself alone in the meantime. Therefore, if given the choice, take a step back, set up a turret, and wait in ambush for your prey. Try to position your turret out of the enemy's immediate line of sight, such as in corners, tall grass, or rooftops. You might feel tempted to drop a turret and then go on to do your own separate thing, and it might be necessary in certain situations, but try to keep as close to your turret as possible at all times. It will help protecting you, and you'll render your turret's destruction more difficult. You and your turret have to abide to a symbiotic relationship if you are to succeed, And don't be afraid to use it as cover if there is nothing else around. Of course, if your health becomes dangerously low, feed your turret fire well, and use your rocket boots to dash away. Try and get a feel for your turret's range, and after a while, you'll know where to place them for maximum efficiency. If you feel the need to attack, keep your distances and use your rifle's range to your advantage. Be sure to aim slightly ahead of your enemy's path, as the rifle bullets have a small travel speed that needs to be compensated for. Finally, Barik's ultimate is a great way to say, "This is my property now, get the hell out." The Doom Shield and Flamethrower turret work wonders to deny the enemy a specific area for a limited amount of time. It is especially useful during capture and at the critical moments of a payload escort. Don't use his ultimate for petty kills, but save it for the right spot at the right time. In regards to his decks, Master Builder is great, as it allows you to place down a second turret, all whilst reducing turret cooldown, which can double your defensive's position damage output tremendously. 800 HP of damage per second and a half, excluding whatever your rifle can add to it, does sound pretty neat, or am I wrong? It also heals both you and your turrets as long as you're in their vicinity. The Defender deck adds more time, effects and health to your barricade, which can be your thing if you want to be more offensive and tanky, whilst neglecting your turret's help a bit. And finally, the Red Streak deck provides you more mobility and a small damage over time effect to your main gun. I'm certain some Barik veterans can do wonders with this, but Master Builder seems so much more advantageous that this deck feels underwhelming to me. Anyway, let's move on to our next section. As seen in the previous sections, more than Barik himself, the main damage output are Barik's turrets, and as such, they have to be your number one priority, unless you're out of their range while still able to hit Barik. Yes, I'm talking about you, Kinessa. Although you might want to get rid of the turret first still, as it can be healing its master if your enemy is using the Master Builder deck, which is fairly likely. So, as a rule of thumb, always take turrets down first. Flanking is always a great move, no matter which enemy you're facing. But with Barik as an opponent, even when you successfully manage to flank, his turrets will still notice you and start firing on you. And once more, take his turrets out first, especially before giving away your flanking position. Once the turrets are down, move on to finish off the dreaded Dwarf champion. Flanking is especially effective as it always bypasses his barricade. But what if you're playing a close quarters champion such as Fernando, Buck or Grover? Well, you have two options really. First, don't engage Barik's turrets unless you can get close without it spotting you as far as its maximum range allows. Second, hope for your health pool to be enough to soak up the tremendous damage you're going to get. Maybe you want to use your dash ability to get close and start dealing damage to that turret as soon as possible. The shorter the period between when it starts firing at you and you start dealing damage to it, the better. So try to be clever and use your environment to your advantage. Otherwise, all you can do is wait for your long-range teammates to take care of Barik and his turrets, and this isn't a great alternative. Barik is indeed tough and annoying to face when encountering him hunkered down in his defensive position. This is why it also needs to be a team effort to take him down. And remember, if you take down his turrets and manage to bring his health as low as to make him flee, but not kill him, you'll have succeeded in removing him from his defensive position, and can then have more breathing room to progress with your objective. I know a kill always is satisfying, yet you need to know when you can and cannot follow him into the ranks of his fellow teammates. In the end, the objective is not to kill as much as possible, but to win the game by completing the objectives, so remember to stay focused. Obviously, the best champions for countering Barik due to his often defensive stance are Kinessa and all champions with splash damage on their mains such as Drogo's, Pip, Eevee and Groke's Chainlight. But both Ruckus and Cassie would also perform well against Barik, although maybe not as easily. Finally, don't believe it is impossible to beat Barik with the close quarters champion. It is tough, but not impossible. You'll have to use all of your wits to manage a successful outcome, but it is in fact possible. As a final anecdote, I'd like to point out that in French, une barrique is a barrel, which is kinda reminiscent of Barik's small and buffed up shape. Anyway, that was it for my guide on Barik, the Dwarf Engineer. If you feel like I missed something, made a mistake, or wasn't quite clear in certain aspects, feel free to comment below and I'll make sure to read your comments and reply to any questions. As always, if you enjoyed the video, press that like button and make sure to subscribe. I'm Lumi, your host, and see you around next time.